Oil marketers under the aegis of Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria and Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria have stated that the pump price of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, could go higher than the projected 340 naira per litre in February 2022 when the federal government removes its subsidy on the commodity. They, however, expressed worry over the fluctuation in foreign exchange rates and how this will impact on petrol price next year. The current pump price of petrol at various filling stations is between 162 naira and 165 naira per litre, although the product is mostly sold at the upper 165 per litre rate due to the recent challenges in the downstream sector. The marketers said that the cost of petrol would be higher than the projected 320 naira to 340 naira per litres if it was no improvement in the foreign exchange rate. Away from there now, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company NNPC Limited has attributed the current global gas crisis to decline in investment in the oil sector as activists, investors and climate change advocates continue to apply pressure on banks and oil companies to withdraw funding for fossil fuel-related projects. NNPC said there might be no end in sight to the overheating of the oil market, which could even worsen if the required financing of major oil and gas projects continue to lag. Speaking in Yenagoa during the 10th Practical Nigerian Content Conference organized by Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDBNB, tagged driving Nigerian content in the new dawn of the Petroleum Industry Act, the Group Executive Director of Upstream, NNPC, Adokie Atumbumieye, urged Nigeria to look inward for financing of major projects. He also maintained that there was an ongoing trend of upward movement in the industry. And now the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has called on the Central Bank of Nigeria and other key government agencies to collaborate with the Nigerian Exchange Limited to ensure that enormous risk premium in the capital market was lessened. Osinbajo further said foreign investors needed to be sure that Nigeria's foreign exchange mechanism and other regulations will enable them channel resources in and take the resources out. The VP stated this while delivering his keynote address at the NGX Capital Market Conference with the theme, The Future Ready Capital Market, Innovating for Nigeria's Sustainable Recovery, held yesterday in Abuja. He, however, maintained that the federal government was committed to working with relevant stakeholders to achieve this objective. And Nigeria has the largest market in Africa with a population of over 200 million. However, the economy is heavily dependent on oil. Speaking on the opportunities in the country's export market, a financial consultant, Pascal Nsorom, to emphasize the need to look into the export market and deepen that market so as to create a source of revenue generation other than the crude oil for the country. Nsorom was speaking earlier on our flagship program, Business Breakfast.
Apart from oil, the next place we get enough exports is the agricultural sector. When you get these products, you can package them for exports and people can buy. Okay? Now, but if we don't encourage the agricultural sector, we will not be able to get those crops that we need to really export. We export ginger, we export cocoa, all of them put together. We export them, groundnuts. You see, most of our state governors are interested in what is coming from the oil, not knowing that what will make them what they should be, the IGR that they should generate, is what God has given to them in their land.
And now, MTN Nigeria Communications PLC is set to raise at least 97.18 billion naira from its public offer to retail investors. This came as the company had no plan to exit the Nigerian market, though the planned share sale. It says in a statement on Tuesday, the company disclosed that it's set to offer about 575 million shares held in MTN Nigeria by MTN Group at 169 naira per share to retail investors. The company said the offer opens earlier today, December 1, 2021, and closed at 5 p.m. on December 14, 2021. The company says the minimum subscription is for 20 shares and lots of 20 shares thereafter. And on the international scene, most Asian stocks rose Wednesday along the U.S. equity futures as traders weighed positive regional economic data and the Federal Reserve's signal of stepped-up efforts to curb elevated inflation. MSCI Incorporation's Asia-Pacific Share Index jumped the most since mid-October. South Korea led gains on strong export growth, while purchasing managers' gauges pointed to resilient Asian manufacturing. S&P 500, Nasdaq 100 and European futures push higher, indicating stabilization after U.S. stocks slammed. Chair Jerome Powell said the next Fed meeting should discuss whether to wrap up bond purchases a few months sooner and return the word transitory to describe high inflation, which could open the door to earlier interest rate hikes. And in the oil market now, prices rose more than 2% on Wednesday, recouping some of the steep losses from the previous session as major producers prepared to discuss how to respond to the threat of a hit-to-fuel demand from the Omicron variant. Brent crude futures rose $1.90 to $71.13 a barrel after a 3.9% slump on Tuesday. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures rose $1.71 to $67.89 a barrel after a 5.4% drop on Tuesday. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, met on Wednesday ahead of the meeting on Thursday of OPEC Plus, which groups OPEC with allies including Russia. While some analysts expect OPEC Plus to post plans to add 400,000 barrels per day of supply in January in light of the potential hit to demand from travel curbs to rein in the spread of the Omicron variant, several OPEC Plus ministers have said there was no need to change course.